recording. Don't record. No, it automatically
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांच श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे नाम एव केवलम कलौ नास्तेव गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हिंदी या इंग्लिश? इंग्लिश। हरे कृष्णा। I am humbled and also honored to be speaking in front of this august company of devotees, brahmacharis, who have dedicated their whole life for serving Guru Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. So whatever I speak will be from the words of Parampara, Guru and Srila Prabhupada. And just now, His Grace Revutipati Prabhu favored me by making me empowered through this medium of this garland. So I am so grateful to him. This is supposed to be 1 hour session, right? So we'll be able to finish by about 4:30. We have started about 3:30. So with your permission, for about 20 to 20 minutes, we'll talk about, for my purification, you have to tolerate me with me. So whatever about Srila Prabhupada, our gurus, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, what it means regarding Lakshmi. Fundraising, basically a fundraising session, right? So we'll try to link it up with spirituality, because whatever you do here in the ashram, in the congregation, for the pleasure of Guru, Prabhupada and Krishna is spiritualized, is a spiritual activity. Once in I think September 1970, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Garga Muni. Srila Prabhupada used to write letters. He never talked on telephone, etc. And that letter states, Hare Krishna, Garga Muni, I never call you Garga Muni. I call you Garg Mani because whatever I need, the Lakshmi that I need or the money that I need, you have been providing to me. And you have been doing wonderful seva for the pleasure of the Lordship Radha Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think Prabhupada wrote this letter from India, and apparently Garg Muni and his brother Brahmanand were most probably maybe America or somewhere. So I need immediately $250,000. So please arrange to send this money or raise this money. So, and you also, both of you, come here. You know that I'm born in Calcutta. So we'll have a grand festival and we'll do some such activities in Calcutta so that Krishna will be pleased. And this will be your unique seva for the satisfaction of your spiritual master. This is a letter written by Srila Prabhupada in 1970. Apparently, most probably the temples, all the temple constructions were going on. And the Srila Prabhupada required the funds. Then you must have also heard or read His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj book, I Will Build Your Temple. In that book, there's a brief paragraph on page number 365 and 366. Giriraj Maharaj, we all know, was in charge of temple construction, in charge of raising funds, and he was moving in Mumbai. He also made some efforts to go out of India. He went to Ghana. He went to Canary Islands. In a way, indirectly, Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was very magnanimous, Prabhupada knew that by going abroad and raising money for Indian projects will not work. But then Prabhupada wanted His Holiness Giriraj Swami to learn by his own experience. So that's what Giriraj Maharaj later mentions. So naturally, he went to Canary Islands and Lagos in Ghana. But naturally, the local people were interested in local project, and they were not interested in. So he was disappointed. And then he submitted his report to Srila Prabhupada. And then Srila Prabhupada, Giriraj Maharaj writes, I quote, I send my report about preaching fundraising in Canary Island. And then he quotes Prabhupada. Prabhupada says in the letter says, it is my intelligence and your cooperation that is working. There's a story of a man who was challenged whether he had any intelligence. He then began to look in his pocket. When asked why he was looking into his pocket, he replied, if there is money in the pocket, then there is intelligence. So you have gone so far to collect money and intelligently. But if there is no money, where is the intelligence? Both must combine. Then everything will work nicely. This Prabhupada is telling Giriraj Maharaj. And this way, and then there also he reflects, Giriraj Maharaj. He said, I was thinking for more than 1 week. Why Prabhupada never discouraged me to go to Canary Islands? And then he comes to conclusion, yes, most probably wanted me to learn by my own mistake. So he encouraged me and said, go ahead. But indirectly he told Brahmanand Prabhu also. That's what Giriraj says, that Giriraj is interested in going abroad and collecting money. I am sure, I also know certain that he will not be able to collect. But for local projects, naturally local people have to be approached, and so this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking about. Then say where is the Prabhupada got this mood from? Or Acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur went door to door to raise funds for Yoga Pit. What did Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami do? They approached influential people like Man Singh, Akbar or Kapoor to give funds for the temples, even though they were Babajis, renunciates. So they wanted to establish temples. And what are these temples Prabhupada has established? They are hospitals, spiritual hospitals, where people come, we are deceased, people come there, at least for time being, they get spiritualized, that whatever, how long they can spend in temple depends on their desire, and they go back, and people and devotees like you're always cured, because you stay in the temple. As Prabhupada says, temple is Goloka or Vaikuntha. So how fortunate you are. You are totally in the spiritual world, living in cooperation, unity, always thinking of Krishna. And you have purchased also Guru Parampara, Prabhupada, Radha Krishna and Chaitanya by your love. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us. In the Madhya Lila, 15th chapter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come from South India Yatra. And all the devotees from Bengal, nearly 200 of them have come. They have celebrated the Rath Yatra. 4 months of Chaturmas are over. And now devotees are going back to Bengal. And Mahaprabhu is glorifying each and every devotee. And he sees Vasudeva Datta, the elder brother of Mukunda Datta. Mukunda Datta is always associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu right from my Navadvip pastimes. Bal Vilas. He has been accompanying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his Jagannath Puri travel. He has come to Jagannath Puri. So, what is Mahaprabhu telling him? He is telling, Yadyapi Mukunda Amar Sange Shishu Haite, Taha Haite Adhika Sukha Tomara Dekite. He is telling Vasudeva Datta, even though Mukunda has been with me right from my childhood, but when I see you, I become more happy. Why? Now this is a level of comparison. All associates of Mahaprabhu are very, very compassionate. But to teach us some lessons, to glorify some pastimes and devotees, we know how Mahaprabhu tells us about Vasudeva Datta. He calls him Prahlad Maharaj. You are none other than Prahlad Maharaj. Because Vasudeva is very, very compassionate. So when Mahaprabhu glorifies him, what does Vasudeva say? He is very humble. He pays the obeisances to Mahaprabhu and says, Mahaprabhu, I am a bit worried. I see all around this so many conditioned people suffering miseries. Let the miseries and dukkha's come to me. And you please, your incarnation, you have come here to liberate each and everyone. So please take them along with you to the spiritual world, Golok, and give their miseries to me. And then when Mahaprabhu hears this, he starts crying. He says, I will purchase by you. So what is the ability of purchasing the Supreme Personality of God? The love. The love that you have, the love that you reciprocate with the deities through the medium of Guru and Srila Prabhupada. And that's what Krishna is also telling us. What is Damodar Lila? Ultimately, the Damodar Lila is a supreme indication for us that love, Krishna is conquered by love. Endeavors of Yashoda Maya And then the Swaraj Krishna is out of love, he gets himself bound, he surrenders. And what does he tell the gopis? After he disappears from the Ras Leela, the gopis endeavor, they're trying to look around for him, they search, and then he recites from the shloka. Sukadeva Goswami talks about this particular shloka. You must have been by hearted, you have all by hearted shloka most probably. You must be knowing this shloka, right? 10.32.22. Na paraye aham. Can you recite together so that yes, you must be knowing this shloka, right? Yes, please. I don't know that shloka.
I know that slogan exists.
So the shloka says, Na parayeham niravadya samyutam swaswadu krutyam vibudhaya sapivitvaha yama bhajan durjar yeha sunkale samvrishta tadvaha pratiyatu sadhuna. So Krishna is telling them. And why am I talking about this particular shloka? Because Krishna is giving certain qualities, is confirming certain qualities of gopis. Naturally, gopis are uncomparable, but he says the gopis are niravadya samyutam. That means nirvadya samyuta means who are completely free from deceit, duplicity. They're all transparent. So are you. So when I saw this translation, Niravadya Samyuta, I thought of all of you who are so transparent, so fascinated by Krishna, Radha Krishna, and like to do any seva. That's why you offered your life. Krishna Prabhupada and their lordships. And what is Krishna telling this to this shloka? He says, I am always indebted to you. So grateful to you. And what is the word? Swa sadhu krityam. He said, there's no proper compensation for your love for me. I cannot repay that. Why? And what is the quality that Krishna appreciates in those also in the gopis, along with this non-deceit? He says, Geha Shrinkale. You've given up your chains of household life, as you have done, all of you. Chains of household life, you have given up, and you are free of deceit. And that's why you have so much love for me. And even the Brahma's whole lifetime, I will not be able to repay you. So be satisfied with what? Your sadhana, by your devotional service itself. Always devotional service is love. So you go on expressing and serving me with love, and that will be your repayment. So Krishna is fascinated, gets completely bound. Sometimes is also equally bewildered by love, because it's ever expanding, and is also going to be purchased. So fundraising marathon is also a love game. It's the expressing our love to Krishna. Love can be expressed in different ways. Pujaris are expressing their love beautifully by decorating Radha Krishna, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Balaji and God in a beautiful way. It's an expression of their love. Sarakshan Prabhu expresses love for Krishna and Srila Prabhupada by making us conditioned souls aware about Krishna philosophy. And Dadu Prabhu and other Avaya boys or brahmacharis express their love by telling others about Krishna, telling them how to be grateful to Krishna, how to love Krishna. Sorry, I cannot take all the names. And Daojimta Prabhu and maybe Gaurila Prabhu is not here. But then they are telling us fallen grastas, and they are preaching, and as a token of love, they are collecting funds, and they are the highest toppers, both of them, in fundraising. Last year, previous year, their collection, how much compassionate they have for the people like us. We have no love for Krishna. So this is a way of, so all of you are so fortunate, so nicely placed in such an ashram where you can do all the sevas. And that's what Prabhupada gave us Daivi Varnashram. No Kshatriya, no Brahman, no Vaishya, no Shudra. All are Gopi, Bhartur, Pad, Kamalyo, Das, 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 and Das. Only consciousness is we are serving Krishna with love. Ahituki apratyata. Yeah. So with that background, this was my purification, for my inspiration. You are already inspired and you have been doing wonderfully. And how wonderfully you have been doing will be portrayed here. Even though, sorry, we may not be having individual data, and I don't want to display also individual data because everyone is Yatha Shakti, Yatha Root. They are, but all of you have love. There's a certain factor. There's not to be questioned, not to be doubted. But your ways of expressing love may be different. Some may be expressing love by collecting more. Some may be doing some other seva, but even then they are also collecting. So all of you have been participating in this one marathon. So we are all grateful to you. And it's a wonderful example you're setting for all of us. So last year, this is Radhashtami to Radhashtami, right, Ramananda Prabhu? So you have given a gift of 1 crore and 5 lakhs. First? Yeah, we can quotes of the Prabhupada. See how he, before could using the quotes of the Prabhupada. Yeah.
So there's some Srila Prabhupada's quote. To help the preaching work, that is also preaching. If you can get money to help expand our preaching activities, that is preaching. We require money. Lakshmi is the immediate assistant of Narayana. Narayana is always preceded by the word Lakshmi. The Mayavadi philosopher do not touch Lakshmi, but we accept for the service of Krishna. We are not of the mentality of Ravana, who took Lakshmi from Narayana and become doing. Keep Lakshmi and Narayana always together, and you will become as powerful as Hanuman. This is Srila Prabhupada letter. This is another quote. Our policy should be for maintenance to take from many persons. Our policy is Madhukari. The purpose is that saintly person, Vaishnavas, if they take something from many men, everyone is benefited. We should not follow the policy that one man gives us everything and we become idle. This is a material policy or policy. Srila Prabhupada to Tamal Krishna Maharaj on September 16, 1971.
Yeah.
Before we go to stage.
One request. Our introduction will be the way we present, and please let at the end you can tell us. I will talk about myself. I am Jaydev Das, the servant to the servant, trying to be the servant to the servant. To the servant, he is Rasparan Prabhu, chartered accountant, head of finance department. I get inspiration from him. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you now, Jaydev Das, 74-year-old, by materially old person, spiritually not as advanced as you, trying to follow you in your footsteps. Okay. You all now know. Have you heard properly?
No, not
We are extremely fortunate because Sometimes some of you may have heard Sri Bhagavatam class by Jaja Prabhu, but of late he has not been coming so often because Mataji's health was not so good. So he's been taking care of her. And this is the 75th birthday year of his Jaja Prabhu. Coming very soon, just a couple of weeks later. So Sri Jaja Prabhu is the backbone of our entire congregation, devotees as well as the department in terms of services. And it's a long history. Harvi Jana Mataji shifted from Mumbai to Pune on the order of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj. And the house where she was staying, just upstairs, Satyavati Mataji was staying. So Jana Mataji preached to Satyavati Mataji, the first candidate. And Satyavati Mataji picked up Krishna consciousness and she engaged in very subtle ways Jaja Prabhu. And Jaja Prabhu.
After 4 or 5 years of hard struggle for me. And for her.
So it was all going on from like almost like 89 to 93, that's the period. I believe half of us were not born. And those days, because hardly there were devotees and hardly devotees had cars. Because Prabhuji had a car, so he was driving all the great souls coming to Pune, including His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj and Vrindavan Maharaj those days, and Mumbai devotees coming, Govindra Bhakti Maharaj, getting their association and getting nourished. He started a program in his factory at Chakar, which became super hit, and many devotees came from. In fact, major section of Bhosri congregation has been generated through that program. And in his home, he hosted a program of Radhesham Prabhu. There used to be one verse of Gita discussed every week. It went on for, it started in 13 years. 13 years without break, and that was the kind of flagship program for entire ISKCON. Till the time the program was going on, till this new temple came up, every week, Tuesday evening was reserved for everyone to just gather at Jaja Prabhu's house. So he has taken 2 flats side by side, he broke the middle wall and made a big hall. And that program, the Atharva program, was so popular. And practically every guest who would come to Pune would go for that program on Tuesday. And you'll see the entire congregation and all the youths and all the brahmacharis. One sumo 18 devotees. Not get it to that. And Mataji, with the help of this, some more Mataji's team, they were actually going to market yard to purchase. They will not purchase from vendor, they go to the wholesale market. And they'll cook for up to 300 devotees. And not just khichdi and papad, at least 7 to 8 items. When you find somebody's birthday or anniversary, there than more. So actually that Atharva program has been the foundation for practically all the brahmacharis and all the congregation leaders. All the devotees have joined before 2013, you can ask them and hear the glory of that program. And Radhesham Prabhu would cover almost like 14 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, so many of the recordings of it. It was a super hit program. Not only because Radhesham Prabhu's class, but along with that, the love and affection with Jaja Prabhu and Mataji showered on everyone who came. People just never left. And hundreds of devotees have been, inspired and been, created through that Atharva program. And the contribution of Jaja Prabhu and Mataji is like, there's no department where the contribution is not there. Whether it is duty services, those days Mataji used to make dress herself and go for dresses and other things. Or whether it is, Janmashtami organization, whether it is fund collection, whether it is, kitchen related thing, or whether it is preaching. So in all things, he has been very greatly active. And earlier he has been a part of the Congregation Management Council, and now is part of the Temple Management Council, one of the 8 managers in Radha Vrindavan Temple. But actually, he's like one among the 8, but his service is like, 85% of the entire. And as far as fundraising goes, he's so authorized, so bona fide, so inspired to speak, because 1/4 of the entire congregation's collection, the congregation is almost like 2,000 families. So 1/4 of that entire congregation's collection comes from Jaja Prabhu's group. His donation plus collection by his group is 25% of the entire collection which ISKCON Pune does. So because of his own, and not only that he donates, they donate a huge amount from their side. He donates separately, Mother donates separately, but apart from that, they inspired their counsellors, and so the entire follow-up and everyone is kept track, everyone is inspired every day. There's a WhatsApp message sent to them, phone calls. So they do it so well, and he personally goes usually we have seen, whether it is fundraising or book marathon, some fund comes and thoda score aa gaya, तो पूछने वाला नहीं आता. So I'm also in that category. Already feel like come and then after that, no follow nothing. But the desire to serve Krishna so much that although he donates his thousand correct, but he goes actually to neighbors, to relatives, door to door he goes and actually requests them to contribute and participate. So that is something very amazing. And on Janmashtami day, he'll be there in the Abhishek management team, visitor reception team, serving at gift stall. So although he's like 75-year-old now, but his spirit of service and enthusiasm is so young, then he can defeat all of us. I have seen them trying the pride and coming for dressing God at their details for so many months already. So that spirit is amazing. There can be a full class on Jadepur, which I'll give sometimes. It's really worth knowing because Prabhupada wrote to Ravindra Swarup Prabhu that you want to take sannyas, but I see that as a grasta you're doing so much, you're doing more than a sannyas is what the need to take sannyas. And those words can exactly apply on Jadepur. And then we have this Rasparan Prabhu. So Jadepur bring funds, and Rasparan Prabhu keep all account and manage it. Because most of the department had to do this, so they spend. So he's a CA by profession, got connected in almost year 2001 in the Mathura voice, and then by the guidance of Ramanand Prabhu and many other devotees. And then as he grew up, although he's quite young, but his contribution in ISKCON is very amazing. He's a part of the bureau's team, which looks after entire ISKCON India's financial things. So they have made 4 teams, technical data, but he's there in 2 of those teams, which will be looking for ISKCON's activities in the financial matter across India. So he travels also for that purpose in all the 4 zones and guides the devotees. And he has a CF form as a professional and excels that. And his family is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. Sisters all are initiated, Mataji is initiated, and son Parikshit is wonderful devotee. Mara went to his visit, Mara visited his home last time when he had come. And last year's mother left in such a glorious way. I mean, that we hear about her leaving. She was totally fearless and just absorbed in her service of wicks making and just worried. The only worry was how the deities at home will be taken care of and how the wicks will be made. That was the. So he got such nice samskar from Mataji. And then he's practicing so wonderfully, coming to morning program and rendering so much volume of service because the account, legal, social media, these are very, high-taking services. Because you're not very simple service, like worship and all that. Comparatively simple. You don't have to deal with conflict and things like that. So he is also one of the TFC members, leading the services in the social media and finance and child protection team and the Janmashtami fundraising team member. So we're fortunate to hear from both of them. They're very exemplary and they're the right person to make this presentation. Previous years we only used to make, but we thought let us invite them and their impact and inspiration will be much higher than whatever we can. So it's in between the session, but I thought that we would together also and that will be the right time break to invite and show gratitude to both of them. So let us chant Hare Krishna mantra once to express our gratitude to both of them for the
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Revutipati Prabhuji, for very inspiring introduction. I hope to come to that level someday. I would like to add one footnote. After Radhesham Prabhuji, because of his busy other engagements, discontinued with Atharva programs. The next 2 or 3 years, till 2013, first for about 6 months, Sundarvar Prabhu used to come, and then we have been fortunate to have the association of His Grace Revutipati Prabhu till 2013, when the new temple opened, till 2 or 3 weeks earlier, till the last class, he used to come, and what a beautiful classes he used to give. And some of the congregation is also inspired, and me too. They are inspired by his wonderful lectures. Besides lectures, his nature of self-sacrifice. You may not hear much about his self-sacrifice. Hope one day you'll be able to
One day we will
understand much more about him. Much more about him. The way is such a good donor, fundraiser, preacher. Say, identify any seva. You must have experienced that, right? Yes. I don't want to say anything else.
We're losing time at the flow booth.
Thank you very much.
I always tell to my at home कि भाई please रेवतीपति प्रभु थोड़ा सा भी अगर मैं कर पाऊँ उनको प्रसन्न कर पाऊँ तो मेरा life success हो जाएगा. That kind of devotee is amazing devotee. The kind of support and the kind मतलब he is standing with you in any situation. He will guide you through any situation. So if I can just please him a little bit also, that will be success of my life.
My only complaint about him is he's not taking care of his own health. That's it.
I take a full care. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So we continue. So we are presenting here the income for the first last 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, 20 asterisk, the combined income was both the temples, Kunji Bihari temple and this temple, income was combined. The expenses are exclusively of NBCC, Radha Vrindavan temple, because we could separate the expenses but not the income. So the figures, if you see, 2021, right? Financial year 2022, total income, this 22 is March 20, this is Prabhuji, it is financial year, no? Yes, this financial year, not Radhashtami to Radhashtami. This March 2022. April 21 to 22, income was 6.2. This is separate. At that time, it was temples were two separate temples. 621, 328, and expense was 604. So, been managing or breaking even in terms of financial jargon, we are meeting the expenses with the income.
This is all in crores for the entire year.
Yeah, crores.
And the first one is financial year 21-22. My mistake is 2020. 21 to 22.
21, 22, and then below 7.64. Expenses in Corona period were low. That's why the expense last year, 2021, was 4 crores. Before that, 6.88, and before that, 6.3. So this is overall our temple's expenses for the last 2-3 years. We have more than 50 departments. Many of you are HODs, vertical heads, doing nice seva. You have been preparing budgets. So we have that budgetary system. After the financial year starts, in the month of April, May, you have a wonderful discipline and you prepare your budgets. The budgets are discussed in the finance committee and approved. So this is a procedure. And now we are talking about this year's budget, this year's projected expense and income. Financial year 22-23. So if you see, this is the details. Hundi collection last year was 27, because again, maybe part of it was under Corona period. So we're 4 lakhs per month, so 48 lakhs, 0.48 crores. Walk-in donations, again, we are hoping there'll be a rise in walk-in donations, so 80 lakhs. Janmashtami, congregation last year collected 3.26. So we are hoping that because of the increase in number of congregation, we'll be able to have more collection. Unfortunately, also we have been stressing this point that most of the congregation collection is very poor. Whatever we collect overall, 75% or 80% is their own donations, individual donations, and hardly 25% collection amount comes from donations. And less than 20% of the congregation, they go out for collection. So we are requesting them to that you go out and collect more. So So that's why we have given a we have identified a target of 4 crores. Last year, brahmacharis collected 1.05 crores. It's a very wonderful collection. I think almost all of you were involved. And as I said, we said earlier, collection was headed by His Grace Daojintaya Prabhu and Gaurlila Prabhu. They were the toppers. And there were about more than 30-40 brahmacharis. BCB, I think, is a combined, excluding BCB, there are separate 24 brahmacharis whose name comes and BC in the BCB, right? Prabhuji, what is it? There's a name of about 15-20 brahmacharis, and they also done wonders. They have collected some substantial, the BCB group, 11 lakhs, if I'm not mistaken, 11 or 12 lakhs. So that means almost all the brahmacharis are participating, maybe in the mood of Hanuman or mood of Guru. Then rent, last year was 88 lakhs. This year we are planning hoping that we will collect 1.08. And Atithi Bhavan now is a part of temple. Earlier it was the profits are spent on construction activities, etc. Now it's aligned, and now it is an income source for the temple. So 60 lakhs. So total now this year's income will be about 8.16 crores. So 1.2 figure that we without consulting you, we have taken the liberty. So are you happy, or would you like to increase it more or decrease it? Would you like to decrease it also? That's what I'm saying. Because you already have purchased Krishna, and you are the right candidates to take care of him. So is that okay? Or then we can accordingly make the necessary changes. Yes, Daojintaya Prabhu. 1.2 is okay. He's already on full swing. He's collecting. 1.2, accept, okay. So we'll keep this target. This is not target is not in terms of money, as we target in terms of endeavor. Endeavor to collect 1.2, because Krishna, if it pleases, can give much more also. But our target should be for endeavor for collecting gift of 1.2 crores. Now we'll come to expense part of it.
Yes, the rent which is indicated is the money which comes from the government trust.
Yeah.
Like gift stall and Govinda's thing, and then Govinda net, 3 things. And Atithi Bhavan is already separate.
So if you see here, approximately 50%, 8.16, Grasta congregation contribute 40%. Brahmacharis contribute 1/8, that is 16%, and rest is coming through either commercial activities or online donations. So 66% comes from all of us. But our gradual efforts will be in the future years to have that 50-50 ratio or whatever it is. That efforts are going in that direction. Yeah. Budgeted revenue expenditure for 22-23. Now, the budgets have been given by the departmental heads. There are 2 or 3 reasons. Let us explain first. So we are not cutting down the budgets. We would like, we know that you have a tremendous love to serve Vaishnavis and Radha Krishna, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Jagannath, Subhadra, Gaur. So we are not interfering in our budgets. We are just the exercise how to manage. Management means how to manage and see how to satisfy all of you. Sometimes we may be dissatisfied, so please forgive us. I can understand how we were discussing in Daojintaya Prabhu and Anand Go Prabhu. They had such a tremendous love for community, the the patrons, the conditioned soul, they said, why are you not allowing those donors or collecting 2,000 or 5,000 in thali? Raise that, reduce this thing. So let everyone get an opportunity. And they were fighting. So now we are also allowed 2,000 rupees or 5 donation as a thali. See how considerate they are and compassionate. And reciprocation gift also. These gifts should be included. We should not be. They are also part of. They are part of this. They are this. So the Sundara too was a part. Others were involved.
Yes, sir.
So even reciprocation, they had wonderful suggestions. So based on the budget, the overall budget that individual department they have given, the total expense will be 9.4 crores. And the expense is capital expenditure. This is revenue expenditure. And capital expenditure is one-time expenditure for capital expense, like say cupboards or some items for a kitchen, etc. Now the reason we can also understand why the expenses have gone up. There are two reasons. One is kitchen department. Last year, 21-22, their expense was about 1 crore 6 lakhs. But now they have given a budget of about 1.6 crores. You will be happy, and we are also happy to know that nowadays, for every festival, about 3,000 to 4,000 devotees and well-wishers come. And out of these 14 festivals, 7 or 8 are on Sundays this year. So naturally, it's a challenge, it's good. So many will come, plus the prices of grains, cereals, commodities have also increased. So their budget has increased by about from 1.06 to 16, about 50, nearly 40 to 50% because of increase in number and increase in prices. Similarly, deity department, flowers are increasing. Cost of the price of the flowers are increasing. We are making an attempt to grow flowers here, but still I think 80% are dependent on outside. Beautiful dresses, jewelry, Rajbhog, festival decoration. So kitchen and the deity department, our major departments, we have substantial budgets. Then employees, then security, then electricity. Even though we have solar energy, I think 40 to 50%, 50%, yeah, 50% we have to rely on MECB. Then vehicle expenses, maintenance, and it's a big family. So we have the two opinions. It's nearly a big family of 200 members or more than that. Every day, I think kitchen cooks for about 300 or 400. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Put together in the sense of all the like flower seva Mataji's.
Yeah, that's about it.
So both the kitchen put together around 300. Somebody there, 100 we cook for Brahmachari kitchen and almost 100 here, 200.
200 every day, yeah. But Saturday, Sunday more. And then festivals more. So that way it's a major expense and it's accepted. We are accepting that. So the budget naturally, only thing is now we have to see how to adjust. And if we are sincere, Krishna will reciprocate in some way or other. So this way we have 9.4 crores. Deficit is 1.24. Expenses are more by 1.24 crores and income is less. So somehow or other, naturally, you're all surrendered. Goputru Vanam Tatha, Atmanikshipa Karpanyam. There's a mood of all of you, right? So, and we also try to pitch in somewhere, even though we don't have that much faith as you have. So some of the other will see how what is to be done. And Janmashtami, this year Janmashtami was because after 2 years, we are going all the way out. Social media, Raj Prabhu is very active that we are generating to give more awareness amongst public. Social media, we are sending SMSs, WhatsApp messages for collection. Personally, we are going to try to go out and all. We'll put in efforts, endeavors. Ultimately, Krishna knows how much we'll be collecting. But our endeavors will be to collect that much. So, you have any questions, clarifications? You're most welcome. And we also know in being finance committee, sometimes we cross question you, but please take the right spirit. Sometimes you question why require this much? Why can't you do less? Because we have the data of earlier, and sometimes your human tendency, because your volume for serving Krishna is up and up and up. So sometimes you may be even higher than what is required. We are as a Grahastha, we are more practical. So that's why we go cross question. So take the right spirit. Sometimes we see the dejected faces and disappointment on the HODs or vertical heads. You say, oh, why don't you sanction? I would like to do so much for Krishna. So please forgive us. Yeah, any comments?
You can address this.
Now, there's a deficit of 1.24. So how do we try to reduce or meet this deficit? That's why we also have put forward suggestions. No, cutting down expenses wherever possible. Now, don't get discouraged. It's a yukta vairag. So, proper utilization of money in Krishna's service is very, very important. Right? So, we may also say instead of 6 or 10 dresses or wearing, for I'm talking about festivals and congregation. I'm not talking about brahmachari. Brahmachari have to be taken care of nicely. So when we say cut down on brahmachari, no, it's not there. We are not dreaming about it at all. We are talking from congregation point of view. So let's be clear about it. So if at all later on the number of congregation strength increases, teacher expenses substantially increase, then we may slightly for festivals or if the funds are not available. But then we have His Grace Sarvakshan Prabhu is always pushing us, spend more on festivals, spend more on community and This is his belief, and we really appreciate his point of view. Such a tremendous faith he has. So sometimes therefore we do some balancing, and sometimes he is displeased also. To be right, Prabhuji? So sorry. He's such a force. No, we should have more. We should spend more on congregation. Or even on Sundays, have Sunday feast. You have prasadam for all the devotees, morning breakfast prasadam. Why are you giving coupons? But then you don't. I don't have that much faith as he has. Then hopefully, yes. So whatever that, if everything all goes all right, there's no problem. So the first, we'll give the lowest priority. Even though it's mentioned first, actually mentioned last. Okay. The second is extra effort for donation followed by congregation brahmacharis. So now that's why I asked you a question: is 1.2 sufficient, or would like to increase our budget? So here also we are requesting them. We'll see what is to be done. How from 4 whether it's possible, whether the base is larger. Now here you have a steady base. Our base is expanding. Congregation is increasing because of your preaching. You are preaching and giving us a congregation. Sometimes you also have that base, but our number is increasing. So if or 2,000 or much more, 2,000 families or 2,500 families cooperate and contribute, we are hopeful. Krishna willing. So, congregation extra efforts, and extra effort for donation collected patron care department. Earlier, our patron care department had a motive, construction. So many donors used to support that cause, but now the construction is over. So many of them now say that why we may not be a party to maintenance. You maintain yourself, but somehow or the other we have to enthuse them, inspire them by giving them some good schemes, reciprocation, more cultivating, and then patron care department is doing that. So we are hopeful that they will also be raising their contribution. Third, new initiative of fund collection by temple. As you just mentioned, social media. So can you speak about that? You are more, how much you are collecting now, or social media, and just started about 2 months back, no?
Yeah, Prabhuji, we just started. Some few months back, we have hired a professional team. Those who are they are devotees. So they are helping us in reaching out through social media. We call it a digital outreach. So we've allotted them a proper budget, and also they are doing good. In Ram Navami, we collected 13 lakh. So this is they are trying their level best. Let's see what happens in Janmashtami. So this is what we are trying, is something from there. Whatever the shortfall is there, that can be managed by those initiatives. So Vamandev Prabhu is taking active role, very active role in that. He's leading that. But Vamandev Prabhu and Jagannath Prabhu, both of them, they are leading that initiative. So that's it.
The next point is new Govindas increase in profit generating activities. We have Govinda and plus restaurant. In COVID period, they had to lie low, but now Krishna Katha Prabhu is in charge here, and Vishwanath Kupa Prabhu and Sarlakshan Prabhu. Guest house as well as restaurant, they are in charge. They have wonderful ideas, innovations. With that, if we attract more people to attend, naturally that commercial activities and income will go up there. And the last is new preaching initiative, more devotees to take care of the project. Increased congregation, or increase if the many people come, when on the site donations will increase, hundi collection also may increase. So these are tentative efforts to meet this shortfall. In case you have any suggestions, you are most welcome. Dauji Prabhu has given a wonderful, he feels that it's a fact that we do not have proper reciprocation for the congregation, especially our Seva office. And we are trying to improve on that. So when the donor comes, we have to reciprocate with him. We have to give him some prasad. Many times we fail. It's our failure. And he has been pointing this out to us many times. So now we are taking collective steps to increase the reciprocation, make the donors and even the congregation members who come for. So there's a new scheme has been introduced. Earlier we were thinking of giving the reciprocation at the time of Janmashtami, but now we'll do it anytime the donor comes, we'll instantly reciprocate. So Janmashtami data collection becomes tedious. Sometimes we may tend to forget, or may not be approachable. So whenever someone comes, will be given. So we'll instruct again the Seva office department to keep always prasadam ready, or make arrangements so that any donor can be taken along with the Seva office member and give it from some shop, Madhuram or restaurant. That care will be taken. Yes, we'd like to hear from you. Yes, Prabhu.
Like just a thought, like festivals, so many people are coming, and they're happy with prasad also. So much nice arrangement, and they're in mood, very nice mood. So just after the prasad plate washing, if we can just put a word or QR code, something like, in order to make next festival more grander, would you like to donate or something like that, call of action. I feel that can be also a good contribution, because after eating, everybody is happy. And they liked also now dancing, eating, and the whole that flow is very much. Even if they donate 10 rupees, now QR code, everything is on that. So there won't be too much rush also. We can have many places like that. Or if it is so, and even somebody might donate 10 rupees, 20 rupees, prasad khaya to 50 rupees. Kitna acha prasad. Something like that might also come. Even after Janmashtami prasadam stall, to make next Janmashtami better, would you like to gift Krishna on his Janmashtami some donation? Something like that can be tried out if it is suitable. I don't know, just a thought.
There should be a balance between commercialism and spiritualism. And if everything, there's no commercialism in the real sense as regards Krishna consciousness is concerned. But there's a approach of some people. Now, some people may say, oh, even while having prasadam, we see these boards here and there and that. That we have to discuss. We'll consider this suggestion, we'll discuss amongst in the TMC or finance committee. Thank you very much for a nice suggestion.
Only one place we can give, Guruji. No need to give hundreds of places. Just after plate washing, if somebody sees, doesn't see it, it's okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruji, for taking such a big responsibility to maintain this family. Now, I have 3 suggestions. One thing that I'm serving here from Gati last 8 years under the very wonderful leadership. So I have always concerned about the wastage of resources. Many times mentioned to senior devotees also about the electricity, water.
Yeah.
Lot of wastage, because many times we saw that people are using electricity, it will continue after using also. Yesterday I came around 11:30 from GEV. Still the seva office first floor light is on, 4 to 5 lights. So each place we should take responsibility that how I can show this is my property, my temple, how I can save this electricity. And instead of putting 4 to 5 light, 1 light can be sufficient. We came from very poor background, so many things are taught by my mother, father. So we should be very concerned about the saving water.
Yeah.
Whatever required, that we understand, because for each and everything in this material we have to pay something. It is not coming free. And we can take guidance from Grahastha devotee how they are wonderfully saving it. They know how to save because they have to pay for each and everything. Then saving the resources, considering as my temple, my things. Then wastage of food everywhere, no? Like while serving, while taking, whatever required, that much we should take. That we can individually can check, because I saw, this is my observation. I may be wrong, but many things we should serve or save. Because saving also have more things, because in many pastors propose even concern about 1 drop of water. And light also many places. Then we can put Nitya Seva activities, like display somewhere that we can contribute 100 rupees per month, 200 rupees per month. It's for everyone who's coming, the crowd coming to our temple. Then sometimes collection of fund is one thing in form of money. So we can also display that we can sponsor rice, dal, or the flowers, like that. So people can sponsor according to their will. Like many years before, Vadodara also that Annadan Seva, like that. So we can make it attractive that people want to contribute according to their wish, will. Many people don't want to contribute in form of money, but they want to contribute in another way. Like you rightly, I say that reciprocation, because I'm also trying my level best little bit, but reciprocation is there. If you remember, people throughout the year celebrating their birthday or anniversary or something, family people, they have continuous connection and they will not forget. So that should be there, because earlier I asked question also that when the people donating, how we can distribute from where we should collect the fund, collect the gifts or having them, giving them some prasadam. So there is some system that one can follow that once near the birthday is coming or some event is coming, family event. So we can have some small gift, prasadam, regular distribution with them. So that is
Thank you very much. Now, you have one point which I also observed, especially not while the festivals are going on Sundays and all, when we wash our plates, many of us keep the flow so high, and even while applying soap, the water is running. So either we have to have taps which you go very average, very slow, or on-off type of lot of wastage happens, especially water I've seen.
Spray kind of tap.
Yeah.
Spray kind of.
And thank you for your suggestions. Bhagavad Prabhu, Dhanavat.
Actually, the very disposition that you are having in that talk is very overwhelmingly humbling. The way you dedicate everything and then we have this recipient's mark. We hope that we recipients are trying to do some for us. So you are actually dedicated at that time. Through one input I received, I'm not into fundraising really, I've not done anything. But I had gone to Chennai, so one congregation devotee who is actually loosely connected to Premaran, he wanted to contribute, so his first heart was coming from Pune. So he called MVCC. So I don't know the process, what happens here, but then that person said, "ठीक है, आप कल call करिए," कुछ ऐसा कुछ. So he postponed the thing and then never noted or something, and nothing happened further. And he tried again, and then again it was also cold. So he thought it's not going well. He needed to donate. He wanted to donate. He called another temple.
No.
And that it went as a missed call. Immediately call came back and then they gave sent prasadam to his home. And so he said, "अरे मेरे घर का जो temple है उधर मैं देना चाहता था लेकिन उतना cold आया कि मैं दे ही नहीं पाया. उधर इतना है मेरे को लगा कि दे देता हूँ इतना तो
Yeah.
मतलब as you said about reciprocation, maybe because we have a very huge number, so how to cater to that number, and then because for that individual it's that one phone call only that matters.
Yeah.
How it is reciprocated. So maybe it is difficult. So I don't know how systems can be made, but that was one thing I had indirectly got an input. I never knew how to. That was one.
Thank you for your valuable input.
Definitely will look at, because we are already trying to improve it. This is very nice session which came up. So we will take some process. We'll do something.
So there are no questions, then we'll stop. So we are grateful to you for your participation, for your suggestions, and thank you very much of your questions.
I don't know about others, but I'm sure that quite of us, like, we are not very strongly connected with outside relations and all. So can you please like help us so that we can find out like some avenues where we can also go and do this kind of like some connection which you feel that like we can also do some. Your experience or your.
Actually, many of us, we are not as full-time fund collectors, but if you can give us some kind of line of thought how we can. But one thing is spirit works. At the same time, some practical details.
I would really first, what I would really suggest. Now, many of amongst you, I just mentioned like Daujindra Prabhu or Golda Prabhu or even Revati Pratik, they are contributing a lot. So in case you have amongst yourself, you can have because you have a set of restrictions and limitations. You also must be busy all the time. And you are, now for example, some of you may be preaching to grastas and congregation, while some of you may be preaching to students, and you may not be having time for other like seva. Because so once you will have the limited, if you have time for on Janmashtami time, would like to, then we can accordingly discuss, provided you have got time. You don't want to see that, oh, this has been thrust on you. First, your availability, because we all know that you have a desire to serve, but time factor and availability may be the constraint, right? And that we don't know. So we wouldn't like to comment before knowing your restrictions and your availability. But best is even amongst yourself, your big house, and then your authorities or they will be able to guide you and tell you whether you can do this seva or not, or you are required for this particular seva. Because nobody says that you are not you have, I mean, you are serving wonderfully this way or that whatever it is. So I wouldn't be able to comment, or we both will not be able to comment on your question. You get my point?
Like, I'll share one example. Your desire to keep us happy on that we are doing something for Prabhupada and Krishna is wonderful. What we are trying to also add on is, like, for example, Dalvin Taipu, Golila Pu, they have actually a.
Or even Ramnita Group. I have the names of what, there are a lot of these names are
Yes.
wonderful.
So, majority of the donation collection, which happens is by their entry into congregation teaching.
Yeah, that's
But a good number of devotees who are in other roles where congregation preaching is not at all involved.
yeah.
So they also have some amenities. For example, Revati Devu mentioned to me that he had put one thing in a Kharagpur alumni thing. He had put that now I am a brahmachari.
Yes.
Then two people got connected. They gave some donation, so they became devotees also more. So I did not know. He just as a flying remark in my talks with him, he just told that. So actually, there's a collection of such points which, at a low energy level, even devotees who are not actually congregation preachers can contribute, because there may be a soul lying in the pool of people that we know, and he wants to contribute, but we become a via media because we just know that idea is there and we just put that point, Say in Kharagpur, I can also write that I am a part of ISKCON Pune if you wish to. So, but if I know the detail, then I can, because these ideas which come from Vaishnavas, it makes it easier.
And the first point is, when you become brahmacharis, are you in touch with your school or college friends? So unless you know their details or addresses, you cannot send them anything. So how to get them?
That is what Revati Devu told me, that it's not like he was in touch with all of them. There is some place where he put that.
Oh.
So that kind of thing is like a banner where
Yes.
he put it. So then other people will find it.
So how do you find it on Kharagpur alumni website, Kharagpur website, IIT website?
I'm in touch with one of my batchmates in Bangalore. He is on that WhatsApp group of all the.
Okay, okay.
I posted to him, he posted on that.
So this is one suggestion.
Basically, points come from people.
Yeah.
So whomsoever we are in contact, because sometimes we even during travel, during book distribution, sometimes home members and relatives. So basically, you can call them, and if they're in Pune, we can invite them for Janmashtami. If they're not in Pune, we can inspire them to go for Janmashtami celebration at their local temple. ISKCON is there. These days, Krishna is practically monopolized by ISKCON. Apart from traditional temple, if you talk about Krishna or Janmashtami, that means ISKCON temple. Some places there is a famous Krishna temple or like that, but otherwise all across India, if you see across the world, if somebody has to talk about Krishna temple, that means ISKCON. Apart from like Jagannath Puri, Udupi Krishna, they are like traditional and the local temples. So people know about ISKCON far and wide these days. They know about ISKCON quite a bit because of many things, especially Food for Life and all this thing also. So we can, earlier we used to have that exercise, we used to take out our mobiles and just scroll through all the contacts we have. And then just we make a contact. Some we might be in regular touch, but many times what happens is after joining ashram, at least for first 5-6 years, we also don't want to keep in touch because our mind gets distracted. And so we feel far out. And then we just ask money on Janmashtami, becomes like कुछ साल भर कुछ किया नहीं. So we should tell them that Janmashtami आ रहा है. Reach to them for a few minutes and tell them that आप आपका locally कानपुर में यहाँ पे ISKCON है, इंदौर में यहाँ पे ISKCOन, wherever they are, and go to ISKCON temple. So at least you're pleased to him, and if he goes to temple, he'll pay something and donate something there for Krishna. And we said that we have this fund collection drive which we run. And if you want to offer something, let's say we are giving them an opportunity to serve. That's some good to offer. It's not that we want their money as a, like any business enterprise. Our thing is that we are giving them an opportunity to serve, because if you give some money for Krishna, then that money will become a saving place. People are spending in lakhs and crores for nonsensical things. And people are earning a lot these days. Salaries are going in CR, so NITs, IITs now. Sometimes beginning salary is 80 lakh and 1 CR per packages are there. So we give them that opportunity and then up to them, between them and Krishna. But our goal is to give them that chance. So please go through all the contacts you have and make it endeavor. That is your endeavor. And then in Pune, while preaching, while meeting temple and other places, so you might have saved some number of some interested people. Contact them, invite them, and let them come for this program, even if they don't give any donation. Because coming there, they'll become purified, they'll feel inspired, they'll feel encouraged. So that is the key, just to reach out to the people whom we are in touch with. Earlier in our times, those days actually, we also in PDC, we used to go to shop to give them the invitation card and collect money for Abhishek. So Abhishek and I were in one team. So we covered the entire JM Road and FC Road. So every shop, every showroom, going there, there must be some, this is a pamphlet, there's Abhishek Seva, you can give Abhishek Seva, you can give donation for directly, new people. As I used to collect every evening, somebody used to have 5,000, 10,000, whatever. So now with our change of program and with our event change, we are not kind of sending brochures for that kind of drive. And later on, Sarshani Prabhu organized a call center. So for many years, many of previous devotees remember, there used to be a whole sheet which used to come for donors and others. Just to call. There must be another like that calls also, and that used to collect several lakhs. Sarshani Prabhu is also one of the big collectors. Although that is still going on. So these were few schemes which we are running. Now our fund collection drive has become very mild, but the number of devotees is quite more. And as Prabhu said, that everything comes with a price. So whatever we receive, whatever we get, whether it's Prashada or our own faculties or vehicles or teaching, they all come for a cost. So we can try our best, and then Krishna will reciprocate. So the basic thing, at least the minimum thing, is that whomsoever either in home side or college side or in Pune, just approach them and invite them for Janmashtami, they know how. And along with that, we also offer them to give some donation. And then let's see how much it comes.
Yeah, another suggestion, when I thought of Sarakshan Prabhu and Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu, the way wonderfully they are doing book distribution. So all of you also are into book distribution. So when you distribute books personally, when you see a well-to-do person, you can take down his address, you can invite him to the temple. We don't know whether you take down the addresses of such people who are well-to-do, and apparently we can see. If such a person is interested, you tell where do you stay, please give me your address, and can be in touch. You can be also can help Jivdaya, or you can also help temple, either way. So the way of another way of having data from book distribution type. Whenever you do that,
Also to request or suggestion. One thing that we can also display that what is ISKCON contribution to society. What ISKCON is doing. So we can display in different corners. That people should know that ISKCON is not a temple but a very big institution helping society. So people can get attracted doing contribution.
there is a one difficulty here. ISKCON is an independent trust, and the social service they are done by different trusts, like Annamrut or other trusts. So in a way, to have their displays in the other may have, and from below point of view or from may have complications. We have discussed this aspect, but there, am I clear? Am I correct? So will you be able to say something on this part? We have discussed this one.
Not only Annamrut, how ISKCON is contributing to people personal life, value education, preaching, college program, that way, personal life, how people life got changed like that.
Okay.
In that way. So people can know that how we are contributing, how we are benefiting the society, like that, without any expectation that this is our contribution to society. Another thing that, like 3 weeks before, one of the professors called me that I am receiving call from some certain temple. I never visited that. I don't know how my number went to them. So they are sending him Mansi
Yes.
Prasad.
Yes.
Whatever possible. So he given the all data and like that.
My colleague also, he donates, but he also gets regular calls from Chamundi temple. And he's donating there also.
And so another thing that we can do that while coming to the temple, give them a nice explanation in case of attending the how temple darshan, just without any expectation. So and collection of data to sending them the regular updates like that. So we can increase our data now. In other material data collection is very big thing. So similarly for proper things, we can collect data, have touch with them in social media, all the things, and give them updatable temples. So that will also increase our social media things at present.
Are you jotting down suggestions? Thank you.
One small thing, this is about it's a technical request. Actually, like as Rati also suggested, there are many contacts. So, like if we get a personalized link donation link, like what happens? Roji, like sometimes I have written mails to many people, and sometimes they donate also, but I don't come to know whether they have donated. We have that section where they have to write it there that Kadam Kanandas, but many times they will not write it. They just write somewhere donation. If I get a personalized link, then I can float that this donation gets tracked on my name. And if I get a dashboard, okay, these people have donated on my name and all, then I also get encouragement, okay, my efforts are taking some online because many of us are able to do on the online sending mails and WhatsApp and all. So that personalized link.
Yeah, we have that.
Actually, we have implemented this in Kunja Bihari. We got new ERP and Vijay Gopaleshwar has exactly done what you are asking for. They have created link for each consulate and they have created link for each counselor. And whenever that link is sent, automatically your ICS ID will be captured as a consulate. Your counselor's ID will be captured and whatever donations they are doing will be automatically stored in database directly. That means the donor will get receipt without interference of Seva office. You directly get receipt and you don't have to follow up also. So we are little 2-3 months behind Kunja Bihari implementation of ERP. But we are trying to give at least individualized link to each consulate. That meeting is going on. Yesterday only we had a long call. Today also we have call. So tonight mostly by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night it should be done mostly.
So you desire any manifesting?
Actually, we did for book distribution project. It was very good, competition.
We will be making links for all consulates, not selected to all consulates under all counselors in MBCC.
Yes, yes.
Already the links are made for those who are congregational preachers and collectors. So for them, it's already actively working out. Now it is being expanded to every single person. And some of you, because your PDC are not based in Pune, database link and application, you can borrow from the PDC in church that the collection goes in. You can send that link. So that makes it easy and convenient. So PDC devotees can use that because you're not limited to any person. Anybody is enthusiastic and we all have contacts. So there's a possibility that we all have potential to collect something for Vrindavan. Okay?
Because we don't have any ready-made mail which we can send to people. So 3-4 years I'm asking them Seva office. So they say that we don't have anything. Means what we are doing, because to ask something we should tell them also what we are doing, how we are using their Lakshmi. So we have just the templates where it is mentioned that give this much donation, you will get this many gifts. So but directly if we approach someone and we don't have anything to tell what we will do with your Lakshmi, in all which all causes it will be spent. So some ready-made thing is there. So because we don't have WhatsApp and all these facilities, we have only mail system or call system. So if some ready-made mail can be given to us, then we can forward it to different people, in which everything is told in brief. That Lakshmi will be used here, and these many activities we are doing with this Lakshmi. So then it will be easier for us to forward it to different people.
You will get it through In 1 or 2 days, you will get a ready-made mail template, you will get it, and there you can just change the name and the whole mail and all those things. With all link and everything, we'll make it, no problem.
Also that because we do so many variety of activities, all types of preaching we are doing, and quite often the videos go very virally. So that mail also can have a very short clip consisting of all the activities that our temple does. So like when they see, then it becomes more impactful and they feel very more easily inspired to donate immediately.
We have 2-3 videos, Prabhuji. Those links also will be available. Like Prabhupada was saying, we have that kind of video where the activities and all. We have those videos already there on the YouTube. So we will definitely put that link also on that. This thing. And that video link also can be shared with you, so you can share.
Actually, that also will be available on website. We'll be creating one ready-made database on website wherein you will get the all resources, including what benefits each team will be having, ready-made mails. We'll also try to give you one Canva kind of software, is the free software. We'll create some 4-5 templates on that, wherein you can use that template, insert your individualized donation link and send that on mail or WhatsApp. So that is also work in progress. Vijay Gopishwar has done it in camp. I said we are 3 months behind them. So it should be done with the help of Vijay Gopishwar. So all the resources will be on website. That link of website will be shared with all of you. So you don't have to ask anybody. So you can, whatever you want, you can download from that website, whatever resources are required. So that is again work in progress. Copy paste, and then there is a Canva software wherein ready-made some posters will be created with editing you can do. You can put your name, you can put your email address. Yeah, that will copy on website. But yeah.
How long it will take?
मैं बोला आज रात तक हो जाएगा.
You can make a first contact in this week and then launch the campaign for collection in the next week, because after 31st July the salary comes.
Foresight.
You first contact so that there's some warm up, and then next time you send it. That is some connection. Because now is the month end, no? So if you send now, not many people donate in this part of the month. And next week, 1st to 7th, 1st to 10th, that is the peak time, the best time for sending invitations and inspiring people to come.
Thank you very much. So we're grateful and we are inspired by your participation, your ideas, and your enthusiasm. The Prabhupada ki jai, Samaved Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare.
Just for your information, there are 52 counselors in our NVCC, and Jaydev Prabhu, somewhere individually, somewhere combined way, is addressing all the congregation council with their councils. So he must have given this talk at least